back in Vegas on a warm Saturday afternoon. And as we mentioned, a big update on the San Diego State side. For more on that, we send it over to Evan Washburn.
Andrew, let's get into this. San Diego State, as you touched on, living on the bubble. That desperation can lead to some real energy. And look, they're going to need it because it's been a tight turnaround from the semifinals last night, but really, let's call it this morning. They didn't get back to their hotel until about 12:30 a.m. They have depth. They play 10 guys, 11 guys regularly, but they are thin now at the front court. Miles Heide last night suffered an injury to his left hand late in that game. He is out for this championship game. Now, Goff, who's dealt with injuries of his own all season, had his best game of the season. He steps into the starting lineup. But the question is, guys, how much does he have left in the tank after what was a game he played about, 12-plus hours ago?
You know what? I think this kid has a lot left in the tank because they haven't played big minutes all year. I think that really helps in this situation. As you said, Evan, they played 11 guys all year. Yes, it's a tight turnaround, but here they are for the championship game.
Brian Dutcher has done this turnaround before. He calls it one of the toughest in college basketball. And for the 8th time in 9 years under Brian Dutcher, the Aztecs are in the Mountain West Championship game. As we take a look at the starting lineups, and for San Diego State, you see Guav in the starting lineup. Sean Newman again because LZ Harrington remains out with a lower leg injury. And for Utah State, a comfortable win against Nevada in the semis last night. 79-66 the final. For the Mountain West Coach of the Year in Jared Calhoun. He's done a wonderful job with this program once again now in his 2nd season in Logan. These two teams met twice during the regular season. Each team won on their home floor. So the rubber game will determine who wins the Mountain West Conference Tournament title. Just another great atmosphere in Vegas. Utah State's fans have traveled well, and the Aztecs are always well represented here in Sin City.
Well, this is like a home court for them. They've played so many games here over the years.
In the last 54 games in this building for the Aztecs, they're 42-12. That includes the Mountain West Tournament and regular season games against UNLV, which is their home here at the Thomas Mack. Our officials, Vern Harris, Michael Irving, and Randy Richardson.
And you see Utah State starting man-to-man, but they played this matchup zone for about 20% of the game. That is really very, very confusing for their opponents.
Shot clock down to 6. Here's Guav going right at Zach Keller. Turnaround, that's a tough shot, well short, and caught by Drake Allen.
Both these teams are, San Diego State that is really good defensively. You have this Utah State team that's good defensively and great offensively.
There's Miles Bird, the Defensive Player of the Year, and he's got the first bucket of the afternoon.
And you just got a good look at him now. He's 4th in the league in steals. Actually, Utah State has the 2 guys that lead the league, the Mountain West, in steals. But Miles Bird, tremendous defender.
It's really unbelievable, Lap. The last 5 Mountain West Defensive Players of the Year have all come from San Diego State, as MJ Collins puts the Aggies on the board.
I think that tells you something about what they value.
That's a culture award for sure, but a credit this year to Miles Bird. Last year it was Guav who gets the start today for the Aztecs as well.
And he's starting to pick it up with his block shots, Guav. He's been hurt. He was hurt a lot of this year. Starting to feel it now. Played great yesterday.
Dixon Waters' step back is good, and that's a good sign, but he hasn't played great here in the first 2 games.
Yeah, no, he struggled big time yesterday. He only scored 5 points in that game, but they have so much depth. They can get away with Miles Bird only scored 7 points, so they can get away with their best players not scoring.
Ballsled comes up short. Offensive rebound to Utah State, and now a 3 for Adlon Elamine.
This kid is going to be some player. I know he's been up and down. He had 15 yesterday. He is a very talented kid. Oh, look at that.
A steal by Allen. He flies in and lays it in.
Well, you got a really good look there at what Drake Allen does. Averages 2 steals a game.
Jared Calhoun told us this morning, we want to play this game in transition. We don't want to get set up against that half-court defense of the Aztecs. And so far, they've been able to run a little bit.
And that's absolutely what you need to do, because the more you set up against San Diego State, the worse it is. And he just puts that left hand. He tries to cross over in front of him, which is not the right thing to do. And Drake Allen, great job getting that hand down.
Utah State is challenging this last out-of-bounds play.
I think they're right.
The previous out-of-bounds plays.
Hey, listen, when you challenge, this is the earliest challenge that I've seen this year, I got to tell you. 2 minutes and 23 seconds, that's an early challenge. You better be right.
We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Utah State has challenged the call.
AT&T's been carrying America's calls since the 1800s. When you've been around that long, you can spot a hustle coming from a mile away. T-Mobile is the master of breaking promises. While they stay caught up in untruths, AT&T keeps building what matters, a network you can rely on. Right, Graham? When you compare, there's no comparison. Plain talk, strong signal, nothing better.
The challenge has been overturned. It should be Utah State ball. 30 seconds.
That's a good challenge, boy. They had to be really, really sure on that one.
So the fans are chanting Calhoun as we check in with Evan.
Well, they should be chanting Kerr and Walsh, because that is the tablet monitor, one of the assistants that is in charge of saying whether or not to challenge. Spoke to him pregame. He did not think they would be challenging calls this early in the game. They've been conservative but effective and extremely detailed with it all season, fellas.
Yeah, and if he was wrong, what would have happened? That's what I want to know.
Crosslev lays it in. It's a 7-0 run for Utah State.
Yeah, these guys have come out on fire.
I'm glad they didn't have the challenge system when you were still coaching, Lap, as Simmons flies in. Because I don't know what you would do if your guy got it wrong.
You would have been a problem, I'll tell you that. It would have been a problem.
That Simmons jam stops the run.
And you know, both these teams, they don't mind playing a little bit fast. This is a faster playing San Diego State team than we've seen in the past. What a great seal right there.
Zach Keller lays it in, and now 5 field goals for the Aggies from 5 different players. Dixon Waters defended by the freshman Elamine. Dixon Waters jumper. Doesn't get the bounce. Offensive rebound by Groff.
Groff has been playing with a lot of bounce in his legs, starting to find his way. Got hurt a little bit early on, but is starting to play much better. He was terrific yesterday.
17 points last night in 28 minutes against New Mexico. His false left cuts, rejected by Groff, but they're going to say goaltending. And now Brian Dutcher may look to challenge. It is a media timeout. There's a little bit of a grace period to see if San Diego State wants to challenge.
I don't think I challenge that. That's too close.
And they are going to challenge. So the second challenge in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Lab is going nuts.
With Chewy Pharmacy, save 20% and make every pet a healthy pet. Get quality meds to help with anything, fleas, allergies, or recoveries, delivered fast. For great prices, for life with pets, there's Chewy Pharmacy.
Southwest morning begins now.
We need to stick together!
Oh, no. Group C.
I thought you checked us in last night.
Well, I was a minute late.
I am not sitting in a middle seat!
Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome to Chuck's Got Game. Hope you brought your A game. I brought my Capital One Saver card for unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Whack-a-chuck.
Oh. Magic. Ow! Woo! Feels good to leave it all on the court. Come on, make one. Come on. So that's why you're known for rebounds.
I'm gonna take that throne over there, man.
That's for basketball royalty only.
Heavy is the crown, Chuck.
Excuse me, can I have your attention, please? Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 6 for $19.99 is the perfect meal for two. Your choice of 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks. Pick 6 meal for 2 for $19.99. Grab a friend and head to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Unfortunately, I did not check who was behind me at the game. Dude, she just pointed at me. That's crazy. Checking Allstate first was the right move. I love you!
I love you!
Not checking who was sitting behind me was humbling.
That's her mom. That's Mrs. Betts.
Yeah, check Allstate first. You could save hundreds. Go Bruins. Go Bruins.
Isn't it absolutely bonkers that you can walk into a store, hand someone a piece of plastic, and they will willingly hand over Reese's cups? Forget flying cars. This is it. We're at the pinnacle. Also try Caramel Big Cup. Life is good.
We've got a problem.
You've been putting everybody around you in danger.
I've been doing my job.
I hate it when Mom and Dad fight.
NCIS is all new. CBS Tuesday.
Good block.
Let's take a look at our fresh fun fact of the game presented by Fresh Pet. Mountain West has had success in the NCAA tournament, including getting the number of teams in the field, at least 4 in each of the last 4 seasons. But a different story this year. We told you off the top, Utah State safely in. Right now, San Diego State, the first team out in our CBS Sports bracketology. All right, San Diego State has challenged. Gene Steratore is with us. What do you see here, Gene?
Well, you know what, guys? I don't think that one is on its way down yet. I think Roth does get it before it's starting on its downward path. If they would overturn this to a good block now, you don't have possession either. You'd have a loose ball, live ball. It's not over the cylinder either based on that really good angle. So I would say good block, and now you have a loose ball. I think they go to the AP arrow if they do call it a good block, and they give the ball to Utah State on possession.
After review, the call has been overturned. There's no basket. When the whistle was blown, San Diego State had the ball, so they will retain possession with a new shot clock.
So the challenge was successful. It was considered a good block, and since they had the ball, they don't go to the arrow. San Diego State gets it.
All right, there you go. Thank you to Gene Steratore. So a successful challenge by the Aztecs. Each team has been successful in the challenge department early here in Vegas.
And I got to give him credit on that one. I thought it was pretty close.
Evan Washburn has more.
Guys, just for some clarity here, the system that San Diego State is using in terms of win to challenge is different than they had all season. Their primary person who handled the tablet in win to challenge or to give confirmation is not on the bench due to limited seats, so a block or rope is handling. Successful out of the gate, but this is new for them the last few days.
That's a pretty big change. You know, you're talking about somebody handling that job the whole year. Boy, there's a lot of pressure on the rope.
Collins and false left miss, and then a foul is committed by Elamine. The former Aztec player now in the hot seat, if you will, behind Brian Dutcher.
No doubt about it. But I'll tell you, Ragun Guav has really come up in his shot block. He was the leading shot blocker in the league last year. He's number 3 now, and that's after really dealing with a lot of different injuries during the course of the year. You know, we talk about Utah State being really, really good offensive team, but their defense is very solid also. Especially when they get to that matchup zone that they play. Great defense this possession.
And Bird way off the mark. 3.5 on the shot clock. Jared Calhoun told us this morning, he said, when we get our defense set, we are as good as any defensive team in the country. It's been set on this possession here, now trying to finish it off.
Well, it was definitely set, and it was really good. San Diego State, they like to play fast now. A little different than when Steve Fisher was coaching. They want to go up and down. Oh, what a move.
Dixon Waters as the timer expires. It gets the Aztec fans going.
Both these teams excel in the half court on defense.
on the attack, missed it in tight, and taken off the glass by last night's hero, B.J. Davis. Hit the game winner against New Mexico with 2 seconds left, and he's fouled going to the basket here. Well, CBS Monday from the team behind FBI. It's the new series critics call thrilling and a must-watch. Catch a new episode of CIA Monday, 9/8 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
And, you know, it's going to be an issue here with this free throw shooting of San Diego State. They're shooting 55%, 56% in the end in this tournament in the Mountain West. They have really struggled from the line.
55% from the line this week and 18% from beyond the arc. And when presented with those stats, Brian Dutcher laughed and said, well, defense and rebounding win championships.
You know what? And how about this? They gave up 20 offensive rebounds last night to New Mexico. So, I mean, it's like, how are they here?
Guath is fouled on the putback, so they're going right back to the free throw line.
Think about those stats. Shoot 55 from the line, 18 from 3. You gave up 20 offensive rebounds yesterday. You're in the championship game. That's pretty hard to do.
And that foul is on Elamine, and that is his second.
Oh, he's got to come out.
He will come out, and Gary Clark checks in.
I mean, before this tournament, San Diego State was shooting over 75% from the line as a team.
Guath makes a pair. And the Aztecs lead by 2. Trying to punch their ticket to the big dance with Selection Sunday just a mere hours away. A great weekend in college basketball.
Great defense there by DeGorville, taking away that handoff.
False left directing traffic, and going up, he is fouled.
Oh, his ankle.
And false left is grabbing onto his right leg. Mountain West Player of the Year, and he is in some pain.
Yeah. Scores, rebounds, passes, steals.
Tough kid. Won state titles in high school, not only in basketball, but in football. He played both quarterback and wide receiver, and he's trying to walk this one off. Foul was on Taj DeGorville, and Falslev is now stepping up to the line.
Well, how about they have the 2 leaders in steals in the Mountain West? Drake Allen and Mason Falslev. Both averaging 2 steals a game. This team averages almost 9 steals.
That's number 1 in the Mountain West as Brian Dutcher makes a substitution. That is Pharaoh Compton checking in from Magoon Guath.
And, you know, losing Miles Hyde is a tough one, but they have so much depth up front, especially, that if anybody can overcome it, it's San Diego State.
There is Heidi, as Evan told us off the top. Injured his left hand last night in the semifinal win over New Mexico. Falslev is going to get a breather after making those free throws. Kind of limps over toward the Utah State bench. That's something to keep an eye on. Evan Washburn is on his way.
They're still in that man-to-man, not trying that matchup yet.
Davis, nice move, creating some space, and he is going back to the free throw line.
Yeah, B.J. Davis, tremendous scorer coming off the bench. Shot 12 free throws in the game yesterday, clearly a foul. And he's an 85-plus free throw shooter. He only made 8 out of 12 yesterday.
Well, bracket season is here. Play against friends and family and enter to win a trip to the 2027 Final Four. Get the CBS Sports app and be a part of March Madness today. B.J. Davis was asked about the quick turnaround last night that we told you about 15 hours ago. They were playing New Mexico, and he said, it's kind of like an AAU tournament these days. You play 3 games, you wake up 7 in the morning the next day. A lot of players in this day and age are used to these types of quick turnarounds.
And they're fortunate they have depth. Now, they did lose 2 guys, LG Harrington and Miles Heide. That's 2 guys that are have been in the rotation all year. But they can overcome it because they still got 9.
Tay Simmons commits the foul for San Diego State. He'll check out, and Jeremiah Odin is on the floor. See, Falstaff still trying to get loose over on the Aggies sideline. King off the inbound, bounces it back to Templin. Great pass inside, and Clark finishes with the right hand. Well, they move the ball. They average 17.5 assists per game. Aggies are tops in the Mountain West in that department. Tough pass by Davis, bailed out. A foul called by Gary Clark, and Jared Calhoun doesn't like that one.
Yeah, his hand on his back.
Davis trying to get it in, locates Dixon Waters with a quick release.
And a really good screen on that inbounds play to get Dixon Waters free, and he was ready to shoot it.
He had 5 points all of last night in the semis. He already has 6 here in the first 7 minutes. Templin attacking. Compton comes over to get it.
A double swap. Telling you one thing about San Diego State, they got subs in the front court.
Odin misses. He's one of those subs in the front court. And here come the Aggies the other way. Elijah Perriman, the freshman, for 3.
And Perriman, they left him wide open. Now, he hasn't shot the ball well this year, but San Diego State #1 in the nation in transition defense. So they got a pretty open shot there. Look at Utah State. Now they're going.
They want to run. Templin flying up ahead for 2.
That's pretty good. So much against a #1 transition defense in the country. That was really good transition offense.
Exactly what Jared Calhoun told his team. We want to play in transition.
You know what? You're much better off going early against San Diego State, because once you got to play against that defense for like 25 seconds, it gets really hard. That's great help on the weak side.
They're running again. 3 on the way for Collins is good. A 7-2 run for Utah State. Compton draws the foul down low. What a start in this one. 5 ties, 3 lead changes. The Aggies up by 3.
Well, there's a lot of getting up and down in this game. MJ Collins with the 3. We got a really good one going on now.
This conference championship weekend presented by Allstate.
This is Freshpet. Here, there are no fillers, no spray-on flavors. There are no cut corners, no easy ways out. Just vet-developed recipes packed with fresh meat and healthy veggies. Because real, fresh, healthy food belongs in everybody's bowl. Freshpet. Healthy food, fresh from the fridge.
Who's in? Who's out? March Madness is about to begin. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Selection Show on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Time now for the All-State season recap. And for Utah State, they won the Mountain West regular season title for the 2nd time in the last 3 years. 3 win streaks this year of at least 7 games. They are 27-6 overall. And a moment ago, Evan with Jared Calhoun.
Coach, hot start, but you told us it's all about adjustments. So what are the adjustments right now?
Well, we got to get Falstaff back in there. He's pretty nicked up. I like our energy. Decision-making's got to get a little bit better. Got to play off 2 feet. Got a couple shots blocked. They're one of the best shot-blocking teams in the country. So got to be disciplined around the rim.
What's your level of concern with Mason right now?
Well, we knew he was pretty banged up going into the game. Obviously, that fall didn't help, but he's a tough kid. I think he'll play.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evan.
Evan, thank you. Tailbone and right knee coming into the game for Falsleb, and he's just saw him there trying to flex out that right leg.
Yeah, obviously he's such an important guy. I mean, this team, they're one of the best in the country at assists, and we're already seeing it in this game, the number of assists they have on baskets. So, I mean, they have 8 baskets, they have 6 assists. This team, over 60% of their baskets are assisted. They've got 3 guys with over 100 assists on their team. That's unbelievable.
Tay Simmons back in for Farrell Compton. Those are Utah State in our CBS Sports Bracketology as an 8 seed. What would it mean if they get this and maybe sneak up to a 7 seed? That's a significant difference.
Avoid those number 1s this year, I think, is really important because the 1s are really strong. Even though Florida took it on the chin big time today by Vanderbilt.
There's still a lot for Utah State to play for. Not only a conference tournament title, but a chance to move up and avoid a 1 seed when getting out of that 8-9 matchup. Jared Calhoun's done a great job now in his 2nd year. His name has been linked to other openings around the country.
Well, all this guy has done is win, and win big his whole career.
Templin from the corner. And the follow by Collins. Wow.
And, you know, this is not a vintage San Diego State rebounding team. They gave up 20 offensive rebounds to New Mexico yesterday. They have not rebounded the defensive glass like they usually do this year.
DeBorgo trying to get some separation from King. King is all over him. 5 on the shot clock for Bird.
Tough shot.
And now they want to run again with the freshman Perriman. Over to Collins for 3. And a foul inside underneath. Templin was sent to the floor.
You take a look at M.J. Collins here. Nobody puts a body on him. He just comes flying in. Nobody near him.
Talking to Jared Calhoun, you know, the transfer portal can get a bad rap, but as Calhoun told us, M.J. Collins is a good example of the transfer portal. Last year at Vanderbilt, he averaged 7 points per game, came off the bench, gets an opportunity here at Utah State. 17.5 points per game, counted in 1 for Clark.
Gary Clark, I'll tell you, the transfer from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, another guy who's both these teams are really deep. And the coaches use the depth. Great finish there, really strong.
Miles Bird to the bench, and now Clark, the St. Louis native, has a chance to finish off a 3-point play.
And you know, Andrew, Miles Bird had a steal like in the first minute of the game. They have no steals since then. San Diego State second only to Utah State in that regard in the league.
Six-point Aggie advantage.
They just seem to have a little bit more bounce to their step than San Diego State does right now. And San Diego State needs this game. Oh, this guy's got some bounce in his step.
Dixon Waters has 9 for San Diego State. And a turnover by Utah State. Templin rips it right back into the corner to King. Davis goes up high to get it.
I mean, let's face it, San Diego State needs this game more. Great pass.
Oh, and a block by Clark. Another good pass. Gets it back inside. Good defense by Tay Simmons to alter that shot. And you cannot put your head down in this game. End-to-end action in the Mountain West Tournament Championship.
Yeah, both these teams want to go up and down. Bad play, but good defense.
Perriman. And then King ahead of the pack.
Really good defense by Perriman fronting the post there.
See where the Aztecs go. Dixon Waters is 4 for 5. The rest of the team is a combined 3 of 9.
I know we always talk about the elite San Diego State defense. I'll tell you what, this Utah State defense not bad either.
Davis. And Guath able to pick it up, but he misses the jam. Wow.
These guys are looking a little gassed right now, Andrew.
Well, we talked about the turnaround for San Diego State. King is fouled. Tay Simmons got in there after King released it, and he'll shoot 2.
You know, San Diego State, they do foul a lot, but they don't usually foul on jump shots. They foul on rebounds and going after loose balls. They've already fouled 2 jump shooters in this game.
That's the second foul on Tay Simmons.
And one thing about Brian Dutcher, he doesn't play guys with 2 fouls in the first half because he usually doesn't have to, but he is short 2 guys now that he usually has, L.G. Harrington and Miles Hyde.
Well, the Utah Mammoth hockey team, a line change here, including Mason Falslev coming back in. And this is what happened earlier in the half. Going down and grabbing that right leg, which, as Evan told us, has been bothering him coming into the game. He sat for 5 minutes and 45 seconds and is hoping to see his teammate King knock in his free throw, and he doesn't. So Falslev will wait a little longer.
It's one of the negatives of Utah State. There aren't many. They only shoot 71% as a team from the foul line. That could be an issue. You know, Bird has not been involved in this game. After that steal, we haven't really seen much.
Guath, another offensive rebound, and this one is good. And Magoon Guath already has 4 offensive rebounds in the first half.
This Utah State team, for a good team, gets out-rebounded a lot.
They're 15-1 when they out-rebound their opponent, but it's less than half their games that they are able to beat their opponent on the glass.
For a team with 27 wins.
Allen for 3. And an offensive rebound by Keller, who is then fouled by Dixon Waters. And that takes us to a timeout. End-to-end action here in Vegas. Utah State 27, San Diego State 24 on CBS. Hurt the Aztecs the first 2 games this week, keeping them in it here so far. During that timeout, Evan caught up with Brian Dutcher.
Coach, they have 9 points off turnovers. How do you limit that area here down the stretch?
Yeah, their pressure's taking us out of everything. So when we attack pressure, we're getting right to the rim and getting layups. So sometimes you got to give up on running the set, break out of it if they overpressure, attack the basket.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point by Brian Dutcher. But take a look here at Miles Bird at the end of this play, and then I'll tell you about what Coach Dutch was saying. Hopefully he's okay.
He is out there, but it definitely went down awkwardly, but Bird will be there.
But, you know, what Dutch was talking about is, yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to forget the sets if you're getting pressure and just go by somebody.
Falslev goes by Bird and hands off to Allen for the jam.
That looked all right there.
Good work out of the timeout by Utah State. Now Bird racing up ahead. Lobs it for Compton, and a blocking foul is called on Zach Keller.
You take a look at how a shot fake can really help create some good things for Mason Falls. He shot fakes right here, and Bird goes up out of the stance. Now he's able to go inside. The help has to come, and they're able to finish.
And the call at the other end. Lock Striking foul called, so Bird to the free throw line. Makes the front end. Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell star in the Madison. Academy Award nominee Taylor Sheridan's new series about love, loss, and the land that heals. The Madison, now streaming on Paramount+. Aztecs now 9 out of 10 from the free throw line.
And they were shooting 55 or 56% in the last 2 games.
Brian Dutcher joked after the quarterfinal win against Colorado State he'd have to fire the guy in charge of the free throws, but then he said that was him. As Collins hits from the outside.
This kid's one of the most improved players in the country, and you talked about it before. Vanderbilt 7 a game, now he's at 17. And here is that matchup zone. It's kind of like a switching man-to-man. Well, they tried to show it, and then they stayed there. And what happens is San Diego State standing around a little bit.
Roth nearly lost it. Now he does. Allen looking for help, and he gets it. That's the 6th turnover by San Diego State. Bird with the rebound off the miss from Tucker Anderson.
Yeah, they're sticking with this sloughing man-to-man, protecting the paint. You know, San Diego State, not a great three-point shooting team.
Dixon Waters hunting for 3, and he's got it.
Except he's their best one, 35%.
His team leading 52nd 3 of the year, and Dixon Waters has 5 of San Diego State's 9 field goals. Was looking for more, but Dixon Waters right on him. Dixon Waters did a great job on Jake Hall of New Mexico last night as well, as Collins' contested 3 is off the mark.
Yeah, they didn't even let him breathe. He was 1 for 10, the best three-point shooter in the league.
Mountain West Freshman of the Year for New Mexico. Bird from the outside. Yes! And we are tied as Jared Calhoun calls timeout. 6-0 run for the Aztecs, finding their legs late in the first half.
With the money I save switching to Progressive, I'm going to book that manicure.
Molly Burke is passive-progressive.
Well, that's so nice. Maybe a pedicure, too.
Don't be like Molly.
Love you.
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
Excuse me, can I have your attention, please? Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 6 for $19.99 is the perfect meal for 2. Your choice of 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks. Pick 6 meal for 2 for $19.99. Grab a friend and head to Buffalo Wild Wings.
CBS tomorrow, see why over 20 million viewers and counting have made Marshalls TV's #1 new show. Luke Grimes stars in Marshalls, a new era of Yellowstone. New episode tomorrow on CBS. National Finals Rodeo home here in Vegas. As we take a look at the points in the paint.
Very clearly, it was important for the winning team to win the war in the paint, and that's what happened. And tonight, so far, Utah State winning that battle.
Boslev, good pass to the corner. They work it around for Elamine, but his 3 is short.
That would have been a hockey assist for Boslev there. The pass to the open guy.
I like when you talk other sports, lad.
Yeah, I got a little hockey in there.
A little hockey? Yeah. San Diego State from 3. They began 0 for 3 in the first 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Since then, they're 3 for 3, and a foul is called.
Illegal screen, I think.
It is against San Diego State. Foul is called on Compton.
You know, we talk a lot about San Diego State having the second best bench in the country, but this Utah State bench is like top 25. They're not bad themselves. Oh, good seal up there. Oh, they call an offensive foul.
Going the other way.
Gary Clark. I guess he used his hands a little bit to get that great position that it looked like he had.
That's the second on Clark.
Take a look here on Clark. Oh, yeah, that's...
Up high on Newman.
Surprised they didn't take a look at that. I don't think it was a flagrant, but usually when you get hit in the head, they're going to look at it. Good closeout.
That was Collins closing quickly on Davis. Shot clock at 7. Newman, step back 3. Doesn't get the bounce, and it's cleared by Collins.
Pretty good job by Templin, staying in front of Newman. This is where it gets hard to score against San Diego State. When the game gets slow, and you got to play against 5-on-5, and that was very uncharacteristic.
Allen to Falslev. Beautiful execution by Utah State.
I mean, you don't usually get those easy baskets in the paint. They're one of the best paint defensive teams in the country, San Diego State, top 20.
They now have 11 assists on 14 made field goals as Compton is fouled on the tip-in. He will shoot when we come back. 3 minutes to go, first half. Great action here in Vegas.
It's Butler with 2 seconds. He's got to put it up. And he wins it. He wins it with the jumper. A San Diego State miracle.
An unforgettable Final Four moment for the Aztecs. And yes, this is March. 17 auto bids clinched so far. Selection show less than 24 hours from now. First 4 in Dayton tips off Tuesday and then Wednesday. As we move closer, 23 hours, 3 minutes, 3 seconds away. As we told you, San Diego State, according to CBS Sports Bracketology, the first team out of the field. And Utah State, an 8 seed, but maybe a win here and some other results around the country, and they can sneak up to a 7 seed.
Well, they got to be happy that Ole Miss lost to Arkansas because they were looking like they could win that game. Right now, you still have Dayton alive in the Atlantic 10 that's playing VCU tomorrow for the championship. Could be a bit stealer.
That last Utah State foul was on Gary Clark, and that was his 3rd. Well, he's out of the game in foul trouble right now with 2:55 to go in the first. Dixon Waters has only rested 70 seconds here in the first half. He's defending Falslev here. He spins by him, but can't get it to drop. A scramble out of bounds. And it's San Diego State ball, and Carson Templin is saying, please challenge this.
He's insisting.
As Dixon Waters is still down on the ground.
Well, he better be right, let me tell you, because he's emphatic about it.
It does look like it hit Dixon Waters' leg, but they did touch Templin after that. We're not going to get a challenge. Utah State decides.
And I think they would have won it. I think they would have won the challenge. That's taking a chance. I guess the guy on the MacBook or the iPad is a little slow to the draw there.
We'll call it a tablet.
Tablet.
Make everybody happy.
You know, you're always correcting me.
Trying to help you out. Templin with the rebound.
I should have come up with that tablet. No kidding.
I thought it was interesting that as Allen misses, Jerry Calhoun told us that at halftime, he goes into the locker room and looks at every offensive clip from the first half.
I found that amazing.
Yeah.
Because what I used to do was I'd sit and talk to my assistants the first 5 minutes. We didn't have all this technology like they have.
Like a tablet?
Yeah, you're a wise guy, huh? All right. I'd sit there for the first 5 minutes and talk to my assistants. Then we'd go in with 10 minutes to go, talk for 6 minutes, and send them out with 4 to go. But how do you do that so quick? That's unbelievable.
Really? He said it's all about adjustments. Evan, he told us that keeping an eye on the big picture is an important part of his coaching style.
Absolutely. He has such a calm demeanor on the sideline. And, guys, just an added layer to that technology lap. It is on a separate laptop, and he scans through it quickly. So he has all the clips in a library, and he's able to rip through it in about 5 to 10 minutes during that halftime break.
That's really unbelievable where we've gotten, I'm telling you.
Taj to Gorville calls timeout with 1:44 to go in the first. AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, Wally Zerbiak, and Bruce Pearl will give us their take on our first half and update us on who else has punched their ticket to the dance. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. A lot of you were talking about some of those bid stealers lurking out there. Well, the list is getting shorter by the moment.
Yeah, and Akron, obviously Miami of Ohio is probably in, you know what I mean, even though I fight with Wally Zerbiak about that, whether they deserve it or not, but that's for another day. So yeah, there's a couple of bid stealers left.
I have a feeling Wally might get the last word in on AT&T at the half. Utah State, 11 assists on 14 made field goals. 6 different players have recorded an assist so far.
Yeah, this team assists on 60% of their field goals, which is top 30 in the country. That's what they do. This is no fluke.
Shot clock at 3. Collins has rejected by Bird, who tips it, and that's going to be a shot clock. Oh, no, it hit the rim. Yeah, Templin keeps going. Templin missed it in tight. Blocked the rebound, and a foul. Templin is thrown to the floor.
Wow, everybody stopped playing, which you never can do until you hear a whistle. Forget about a buzzer, you got to hear a whistle.
And then after, Roth with the rebound and a little extra rip has the Utah State fans unhappy. And they're going to take a look at this one.
The previous play is under review for a possible flipping foul.
So let's take another look at Guath. At the end of this play, I don't think he got around that.
Yeah, he has his elbows tucked in. Like, the only thing you can do is cut him off. They can't get closer to his body than he's got there. I can't see that being played.
What do you think, Gene Steratore?
Again, Andrew, I'm agreeing with Coach Lapis here. I agree totally. I think Roth has got his elbows down as he should, and he's moving shoulders and trying to clear out. Defender is definitely on top. Foul occurs. I don't have any elbows up high whatsoever. I think that's just a good basketball play by the San Diego State player.
Me and Gene are starting on a roll. Let me tell you something.
It's unbelievable.
We're on a roll.
Hey, fellas, I was talking here in the studio. If you would have had that tablet back in the day, Coach, I can't imagine how many times you'd be standing there showing me that screen from the sideline. Would have been great.
And I got a feeling you wouldn't have liked it.
The previous play stands as called. It'd be 2 free throws for the San Diego State, number 0.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Foul was on Templin. That's his first.
You know, we always used to tell our kids, I know it sounds stupid, but play the whistle. You don't play the shot clock horn. You don't. That's it. You play the whistle. And you know, when these two teams play, the team that has won the paint has won the game. Right now, Utah State, they've got it doubled up in the paint, but it is a very obviously close game.
20-10 in the paint for the Aggies as Roth is at the line. Lagoon Groth missed 6 games with a hip injury. Still not 100%. But as Brian Dutcher said after last night's win, he's starting to find his rhythm a little bit. And they are a different team when he plays up to his ceiling.
Dixon Todd DeGorville with a terrific rebound there.
Las Vegas native driving, using the glass.
He saw Carson Templin on him, and he just decided, I'm taking this guy, and he did.
Utah State has cooled off. They are 1 for their last 9. Aztecs fans on their feet.
I think San Diego State cooled them off a little bit, Andrew.
Templin's rejected. Shot clock turned off. Dixon Waters up ahead.
They should pull it out. Get the last one.
The San Diego State bench is trying to tell them, hold for 1. Dutcher's got one finger up, and DeGorville listens.
What always helps their defense, San Diego State, is they always have shot blockers. They're one of the better they're the best shot blocking team in the Mountain West.
4 seconds left. Pass is picked off by Collins. Can he beat the buzzer from midcourt? And a wild ending here in the first half. What a first half it was. Aztecs close it on a 9-2 run.
Andrew, I got to be honest with you. For them to be up 1, San Diego State, that's surprising, shocking to me, because I think they got outplayed.
Reese Dixon Waters had a dozen in the first half, and he's with Evan.
Reese, how'd you guys grab control of this game down the stretch of that first half?
Just playing with grit, trying to box out as much as we can, executing plays, and just going to get the game plan.
What's working for you offensively?
Just taking the easy looks, not trying to force the game, and keeping my main focus on defense so that offense is easier.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
He's by 1. And hi again, everyone. With Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. We'll hear from Evan Washburn in a moment. Didn't know how much San Diego State would have in the tank. And so far, so good for the Aztecs.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good game so far. There's no doubt about it. San Diego State, the only thing they have to make sure of is that they do a better job defending the paint, which they normally do. But at the end of the half, Utah State, they ended up shooting 40% for the half. So San Diego State's starting to get that shooting percentage of their opponents down like they usually do.
Here's a look at the State Farm first half stats. Aztecs have gotten it done at the line so far. Points in the paint, something we've been talking a lot about in favor of the Aggies. And a moment ago, Evan with MJ Collins.
MJ, the offense stalled in the final 10 minutes of that first half. What was the message from the coaches on how to get it going here?
Just being able to move the ball the last 10 seconds. Coach told us that, the last 10 seconds is going to determine who wins this game. Both teams are great on defense. We'll stop each other's first, second action, but it's about the third, fourth action later in the clock.
We saw Mason a bit banged up. If he's limited, what does that mean in terms of a responsibility from you offensively?
Next man up. I don't mind carrying the load if I have to. I'd rather have Mason than have to try to do it by myself. But this is a team sport, so the next man up, Kobe King, Tucker Anderson, Addy, whoever's next up has to be ready to go so we can bring this thing back to Logan.
Good luck, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good stuff there, Evan and MJ Collins, and Falstaff will start this second half. You take a deeper look at the stat sheet, Lap. Utah State had 9 points off turnovers, but none in the last 9 minutes of that half.
Yeah, San Diego State tightened things up with the ball. They also started playing much better defense in the half court because part of it was there were no steals coming. There were transition baskets.
Utah State trying to win its first Mountain West Conference tournament title since 2020. San Diego State trying to punch its ticket to the dance. And Drake Allen gets the second half off to a good start for the Aggies.
I mean, when you see a team in the half court get that kind of a basket against San Diego State, it's rare, believe me.
Simmons calling for it, gets it, and a foul down low.
Well, they saw Simmons with Collins on him, and they decided to go down low to him. It was a good idea by Lagoon Block.
First foul on MJ Collins. Bird, step back jumper. And going up to get the rebound is Zach Keller, and then he threw it away. Sloppy turnover there by Utah State. Just their third in this ball game. Over to Evan.
Well, the message from Brian Dutcher at half to his guys, they have to space out the floor better so they can attack this slot ball screen. He feels like offensively they're just starting everything way too far out in the perimeter. They want to get into the paint, and he feels like this game is going to be defined and really decided, fellas, by transition and rebounding. They got to stop the transition from Utah State, have some of their own, and win the glass.
Yeah, and I'll even throw that those are all great points, Evan. I'll even throw one more thing in there. They've got to make sure, because right now, San Diego State is not forcing turnovers. They've only forced 3 turnovers in this game. They normally force 15. That's been a big issue here.
Allen hits the 3. Utah State had been 1 for its last 10 on threes until Allen buries it.
And of all the guys that play, he's one of the weaker three-point shooters.
31% on the season, but a big one there as the Aggies go up by 4.
Let's face it, San Diego State is the more desperate team for this game, no doubt. They are not in yet, probably. Utah State is in.
That pass deflected and a turnover. False left, locates Allen, up ahead. Allen, yes. And the Aggies have scored the first 7 here in the second half. Jersey Mike subs. Be a sub above. And by Capital One, what's in your wallets? 41-35 as we take a look at who brings it home, presented by Wayfair.
Well, here it is. Keep up the pace for Utah State, which they've started right now. Rebound better. They've struggled on the glass. San Diego State got to get out and transition more and more on-ball pressure. They're not forcing any turnovers. They only have 2 points off turnovers in this game. And you can see here, Utah State much more active, getting out in transition, 14 points off turnovers for them, 2 for San Diego State. And they are the 2 best in the league at scoring off turnovers. But San Diego State, not today.
Well, during this 7-0 run, 5 of the 7 points have come off of turnovers for Utah State, and Allen has scored all 7 for the Aggies. Another turnover. Turnover number 11 by the Aztecs.
And they only average about 12 and a half, but right now, they are losing that battle big.
3 straight turnovers for San Diego State. Collins in the paint. And good defense there by Bird. Collins is slow to join the play.
They got to start putting some pressure. Now, this Utah State team, they're very good with the ball. They average less than 11 turnovers a game, but the pressure's got to get a little tougher for San Diego State.
Guath for 3. Capable of hitting that shot, 44% on the season, but not that time. False left, trying to go all the way, and he draws the foul. Fouls on Miles Bird.
The San Diego State team today, not as alert as normally. They are usually a great transition defense team. They were all standing up. Nobody was back. I mean, Guath is not supposed to have Mason Falslev there, not getting back and locating people fast enough.
Aztecs still yet to score here in the second half.
And we talked about it, Andrew. San Diego State has to win this game probably to get into the tournament. Almost assured. Utah State's already in. Got to see some desperation from San Diego State.
Brian Dutcher told Evan before the game that he feels good about their resume. They challenged themselves by playing Michigan, Arizona. He points out their bad loss, quote-unquote, to Troy. Well, Troy won their conference, but it might not matter because Brian Dutcher doesn't make the call.
Right, and it's a quad 3 loss. No doubt Troy's a good team.
Simmons fouled on the putback.
And it was double overtime on top of it.
A game back on November the 18th is still what could keep the Aztecs out. They all matter.
It's definitely a blemish.
Fouls on Drake Allen. That's his second. Tay Simmons at the line in the Mountain West tournament this week. 5 for 14. Well, tonight at 8:30 Eastern over on CBS Sports Network, don't miss the Conference USA title game as Kennesaw State takes on Louisiana Tech. Winner of that will go to the NCAA tournament. Don't miss that tonight on CBS Sports Network. What a great time of year. And a phenomenal week and weekend of college basketball. And it's only just beginning. You were locked into all the games from the pool yesterday, Lat.
I was. It was a nice day.
It was a nice day. Second that. El-Amin on the wing. And poked away. And retreating to get it is Kobe King.
And you know what happens? El-Amin had fouls in the first half. He's not really gotten back into the flow here at all.
Knocked out to San Diego State. Trying to flip this momentum a little bit that Utah State has grabbed out of the halftime locker room.
Well, San Diego State usually does that with that defense. But they got to force some more turnovers so they can get out in transition. They're at their best when they're playing a little faster on offense. A lot of half court tonight for San Diego State. And this Utah State team, they're pretty good defensively, too.
Simmons calling for it. Davis instead will take the jumper and knock it down. B.J. Davis, the hero last night against New Mexico, and he cuts the deficit down to 2.
You're right. That was a tough drive that he made last night.
That was his first field goal today. False left. Off glass.
Wow. That was on Miles Bird.
Dixon Waters cuts. Davis finds him. Turnaround is not good, but a foul is called. That was the first shot attempt of the half for Dixon Waters, who had a dozen in the first half. Good start here in the second on CBS.
With the new IHOP voucher.
By Allstate, you're in good hands. 43-39 in favor of Utah State. And let's revisit our AT&T Fast Analysis.
Well, it really has been about the defense for both teams. Now, it looks like they can get the ball in the Carson Templin there, but they converge on him quickly. Miles Bird with a tremendous block. Then they get out in transition, and then you're going to see Utah State return the favor. Fronting the post there leads to that Kobe King layup.
Been a great week here in Vegas. Want to thank our producer, Jonathan Siegel, director Andy Goldberg, statistician Ethan Cooperson, our entire crew. Steve Lapis, Evan Washburn. I'm Andrew Catalan. Bill Thayer, also one of our producers today.
And great crew. Dixon Waters is having a great game. They have not been able to get him the ball as consistently here in the second half, and he's been the guy.
Scored his 1,000th career point in this building in late January in a regular season win over UNLV. Began his career at USC. The street address that he grew up on as a kid was 3939, and that is why he wears jersey number 39.
Templin, great position down low.
But he missed the reverse. And taken off the glass by Bird.
Utah State, now they're in that swing like Kobe King's on block. Just switching, whatever it is, man-to-man. That's very confusing. You got to run your man stuff against this defense.
Dixon Waters. And that one spins out.
They trying to get Temple in the ball. He's got B.J. Davis on him.
Shot clock at 10. Falstaff had it poked away, gets it back. King attacking, slashing, and missing. And a rebound by Davis. A tie-up is called. It'll be San Diego State basketball. And Garrett Clark is going to check in. He picked up his third foul late in the first half. And has sat until now.
Well, obviously, he doesn't. I mean, he's part of their rotation, probably their 10th guy, so they feel like give somebody a rest. If he picks up his fourth, it's not the end of the world.
You look at Utah State shooting 42%, but they have missed 11 layups in this game.
Well, let's face it, in this league, San Diego State's one of the best rim-protecting teams there is. So, you know, it looks like, yeah, they're layups, but they're not completely uncontested layups. Really good defense in the half court.
Davis comes to greet that pass and scores. That's a great job by B.J. Davis to attack that slow pass.
Yeah, really good. That was such good defense by Utah State. San Diego State, at the end of the shot clock, takes advantage.
7th tie of this game. A good one here on CBS. King. With the monster block. Dixon Waters transition. Good. Aztecs up 2.
That's San Diego State right there. You just saw it. Block, fast break. Steal, fast break. That's what they need to do.
6-0 run for San Diego State. Collins. And it's tipped over to Davis. That's a great job by DeGorville. And San Diego State wants to push again. Bird, transition 3. Not there.
That would have been a biggie. And you see Jerry Calhoun wants his guys to push it now, too. Because you don't want to set up against the San Diego State defense. That's a good job by Drake Allen there.
Draws the foul with 13 minutes to go. How about the block by the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, how about him? He's 4th in the league in blocks. Then they get out in transition. Finish there. But I like the Utah State response that time in terms of Jared Calhoun is yelling at his guys, push it, push it. You can't set up against this San Diego State team all the time. You got to get out in transition. They got to push the ball early offense. Very important against them.
Our CBS Sports bracketology has San Diego State as the first team out. They don't want to listen to any of the bracketologists. They want to win this thing, sleep well tonight, and enjoy the selection show on CBS tomorrow.
Put it this way, if they lose, I'd watch the show as a team, but I wouldn't invite outsiders to come. You know, if you're Utah State, you could invite alumni and fans and whoever to come because you're in. I wouldn't do that if I'm San Diego State, unless I win. It's more fun when you can invite everybody.
I got a feeling it's a different kind of climate.
I've been on both sides.
Allen has a dozen. 8 of the 12 have come here in the second half. Great pass there. Corner 3. Not there for Newman. And it's saved by Drake Allen, who's been everywhere here in the second half. And he draws another foul.
And that's exactly what Jared Calhoun told us this morning. They want to have early offense because the best chance you have to attack San Diego State is early.
Over to Evan.
We talked about the tight turnaround this team played here going up until midnight Saturday morning here in Vegas. Tay Simmons was dealing with cramps last night, appears to be dealing with them again. They're already down Miles Heide. He suffered that left hand injury, so they are a bit thin in the front court despite being a really deep team, guys.
And LZ Harrington, who hasn't played in this tournament at all. So normally they have 11 guys that would play in the first half. Now they've got 9. Still a good number, but it's not 11.
The Gorville and Dixon Waters collide, going for the rebound. Dixon Waters squinting a little bit as he comes down the floor. Tied at 45. To Gorville.
That's a tough shot. It's not a good shot there.
And it goes out of bounds to Utah State.
You know, we got to talk. We always talk about San Diego State defense. This Utah State half-court defense has been so good. That's the reason why San Diego State isn't scoring in the paint. They can't get in the paint.
Pharaoh Compton has worn a mask this season because of an injury to his nose. He did not start this game with a mask on, but now he's gone masked in the second half. Did take a shot in the first half. Oh, MJ! Wow! First points of the half for MJ Collins. Newman trying to answer, and a foul is called. How about the jam from MJ?
MJ, yeah, it's got to, that's good MJ. There's another MJ I know who does stuff like this. Woo! When you see him in the half court do that, wow.
Try pick 6 for 1999. Hilton for the stay. And by Progressive, get slam dunk savings today. Back in Vegas, Aggies up by 2. Tomorrow, Monster Day on CBS. We tip off at noon inside college basketball, and then back-to-back conference championship games, first in the A-10 and then the Big Ten, and then, of course, CBS Sports, the first to reveal the full bracket for the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Selection Show. There's the A-10 bracket. It'll be Dayton and VCU, and that's followed by Michigan and Purdue on CBS.
Well, San Diego State fans, well, depending on what happens in this game, maybe if they win, they won't care. But if they don't win, they're hoping that Dayton does not win that game.
There'll be one less spot available.
But you know, Andrew, we have two teams that force the most turnovers in the league, and here's the difference in the game, is that Utah State has 4 turnovers against a team that forces 15 a game. That is and San Diego State, on the other hand, has 11. That's your difference right there.
Newman had only missed 4 free throws all year. He goes 1 out of 2 at the line.
I can't blame you for that one because you didn't say it.
I waited.
Yeah, and I see that. You're trying to control your Malloy.
Tay Simmons just sat back down on the San Diego State bench. As Evan told us, he was dealing with some cramps. Collins, turnaround. Rattles in.
You know, this guy might be one of the most improved players in the country for sure. I don't know about the most, but he went from 7 points a game to 17 points a game this year.
A second-team All-Mountain West selection, MJ Collins. Dixon Waters, and he is money on that turnaround.
And that is a tough shot. That was good defense by Falsleb there.
And a foul as Falsleb goes to the ground. Dixon Waters was trying to get back.
You know, the Utah State pushing the ball up so fast after a made basket, and San Diego State was not ready for them. And that's why there was a foul there. He's backpedaling. You got to sprint back and be waiting for them. And he was not that time. And this is rare because San Diego State, as I said earlier, the #1 transition defensive team in the country. Hardest team to score against in that regard.
That was the 3rd foul on Dixon Waters. This entire game has been played in an 8-point window as we approach the midway point of the second half. Collins sends it out to Falsleb. Clark goes up to get the rebound, and he's fouled. Good work down low by Gary Clark.
Yeah, he just took that. It looked like Simmons had pretty good position on him there. And he just took it. He did have good position. Simmons needed to really push him back a little bit more. He had Simmons more under the rim. You can't get a rebound standing that close to the basket. It's hard.
Foul was on Newman, and he slowly exits. Elamine inside. Good defense by Guaf. DeGorville quickly inside. Davis finishes.
That was a heck of a pass, and it was a heck of a finish, especially when you consider Davis had to do that on Clark, who's 6'9".
Davis is 6'2", and that one got the Aztec fans up out of their seats here at the Thomas Mack Center. Falslev with the answer.
I'll tell you, they got to get him to go to his left. He goes to that right hand. He's really strong finishing.
He's in double figures with 10 points.
And here's that matchup zone now. You can see, got Collins on block. They're switching everything out here.
DeGorville trying to work through the trees. Not happening. Guaf looking to save it. Comes to Collins. He collides with Falslev, and it goes back to San Diego State. The shot clock, though, is under 1 second. Miles Bird comes in for Guaf. This will have to be a very quick catch and shoot.
0.5, they can catch and shoot it.
Oh, layup. Shot clock violation. Falslev, good defense to seal Bird. Minutes to go. Falslev left open. Wow. Misses the three.
Not going to get a better look than that. And he's a good three-point shooter.
Utah State 4 of 18 from beyond the arc today.
You know, they haven't shot well from three. Oh, that's MJ Collins.
Easy steal there for Collins.
You know, they didn't shoot well against San Diego State in both games. Even the one they won, they didn't shoot well from three.
Also, nice spin pass. Clark had it poked away, trying to get it back. Throws it up in the air right to DeGorville. 5 on 4 the other way. Bird left open.
He's been struggling from the three-point line.
Miles Bird in this Mountain West tournament is 2 for 16 from deep.
He's not a great three-point shooter, but he's 30%. He's better than that.
Clark with good position. DeGorville the block. Clark gets it back and scores.
He took that back up on 4 Aztecs that time.
And Utah State calls a timeout. This one has been close the entire day. Just what you want in a championship game. A 3-point Aggies lead. You're watching college basketball presented by Allstate.
It's not how you...
3 well, but what a game we have. Just a 3-point game with 8:01 to go. And back courtside with Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalon, Evan Washburn with us as well, and we have been treated to quite a ball game here today.
These kids are all playing with a tremendous sense of desperation. Utah State wanting to win a tournament championship, San Diego State wanting to win a tournament championship and go to the NCAA tournament. But you got to give Utah State tremendous credit. They only have 4 turnovers against San Diego State. That is almost impossible to have 8 minutes to go. They have 14 to 4 points off turnovers, beating San Diego State. That is a huge number right there. Only 4.
The fewest turnovers a San Diego State opponent has committed this year is 6. Aggies with 4 inside 8 to play.
And their defense has been very sticky in the half court, too. Every time I say it, they're going to let it go. There's a third time. I said, boy, they play a sticky defense and give them a layup 3 times.
Dixon Waters with 20 points for the 6th time this year.
Hey, he's played well. He averaged 19 against them in the 2 games they played during the season. So, yeah, he's been good against Utah State.
Elamine finds a cutting false left. What a pass.
Dude, that's one of those ones I said, well, if he got lucky there, because he was kind of like stuck in no man's land, and he found the cutter at the end. Another paint point for Utah State. They've got 36-20 for San Diego State.
Roth tied up at the free throw line. Locates Simmons, who's rejected. Elamine says no.
Elamine's going to be a really good player. He's not having a great day today, but you can see the talent. And he had 15 in the semifinals yesterday. One-on-one for Falslip right there.
Working on Bird. Sends it out to Elamine with the shot clock at 3. Step back, Elamine, no. And it's last touch by Gary Clark. Utah State getting it done on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, you take a look here. You get the drive by Elamine. And really, Miles Bird fell asleep there and allowed Falslip to come in. A great block by Elamine.
Davis comes to get it. Could not get a handle on it, and a turnover by San Diego State.
And a pretty good job there by Clark, staying with that, not fouling.
Turnover number 14 today by Brian Dutcher's club.
And San Diego State, their defense isn't bad. They're just not forcing any turnovers.
Allen can't find the touch. Foul is called. Foul is on Magoon-Guaf, and that's his first. Well, last night against New Mexico and today against Utah State, San Diego State, neither team has led by more than 6 points. They've been playing these tough nail-biters for the last 24 hours. Collins for 3. Yeah. 17 for MJ Collins as we approach 5 minutes to go. Davis draws the foul. What a big shot from MJ Collins.
Yeah, let's go back to that play there. What a great screen by Gary Clark. He knows he's got his best shooter. Here he is here. And he's going body hunting. He sees his best shooter's going to come off this baseline screen and get him open. And that's all the room that MJ Collins needed. That is execution.
The foul was on Drake Allen. That's his 3rd.
I tell you, Gary Clark gave him some good minutes.
Simmons comes out to Goreville back on the floor. 9-3 run for Utah State. Let's see what the Aztecs have done at the free throw line. After a rough couple of days, they've bounced back today. Davis has 11 points. 8 of the 11 have come here in the second half.
Utah State's been so comfortable. He's getting open again.
Collins foul.
And a foul! And that's a good basket. And they pushed the screener down, Zach Keller. I mean, that's a bad foul by Dixon Waters there. He just pushed him down.
And it's the 4th on Dixon Waters to boot.
I'm wondering if they're going to look at that to see the timing to make sure that the foul didn't happen before the shot.
They are going to the monitor.
I think that's one that you almost have to look at to make sure the foul didn't happen first.
Another look.
Fouls first.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be no basket.
Gene Steratore, dare I ask, do you agree with Lapp once again?
What I'm looking at here, Andrew, is when does Vern Harris acknowledge the foul? I think the foul happens prior to there, but if you watch Vern Harris on your left,
if the shot, the player was in the act of shooting before the foul.
Right. As Vern was saying, they're doing the same, just what you guys had mentioned. I'm looking to see when does Vern Harris post his fist to designate the foul. To me, the contact is clearly before the foul's happening, clearly before that shot. But you do see, now I don't know if Vern Harris's hand is going up to signify a three-point shot attempt. It looks to me as if he's posting a fist. But if they break this down by when they see the foul occur on the court, to me, that foul occurs prior to that shot leaving the shooter's hand.
Well, let me ask you this question, Gene. You're right. He didn't get his hand up, and that was great eyes by you. But can they go back to the monitor and say, well, my hand should have been up a little bit earlier? Can they do that?
Now, most times they don't, Coach. They have to still look to see when does the official recognize the foul by that posting of the fist. And it's pretty close. Now, when does that hand, you see him go up three and then fist. That was a great look. The last one we had, you see him signal three first with the hand, and then he closes that three and close fists it. But when they get into these frame by frames like that, I know what I would do. You want to get this play right now, right?
Yes.
And to me, he's going through that screen, to me, before this player's shooting that basketball, and I would remove it and take the foul. That's a floor foul.
And I agree with you, Gene. That's what. And I don't want to say that. Vern Harris happens to be one of the best officials in the country. Let me just say that.
Totally agree.
But yes, I would hope that that's what he's going to do, because he's going to see it. And this game is so close and so big that that should not be a basket.
They are still at the monitor taking a look and discussing whether or not it'll be a chance at a 4-point play. Either way, Collins will go to the free throw line. It would be a 1-and-1 for Utah State.
I mean, that's probably what they're talking about, exactly what Gene said about when Vern's hand went up to signal the foul.
Now it looks like they may have come, or at least come closer to a decision here.
That's a huge call.
It is the 4th foul on Dixon Waters, who is still only rested for 70 seconds today.
After review, it is determined that the number 2 was in the act of shooting when the actual foul occurred. Therefore, number 32 will shoot a 1-and-1 at the free throw line.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, you take a look at Vern Harris here when he puts his arm up. Okay, the foul happened, and then he puts his hand up.
Gene, what do you make of the call here?
Yeah, the other thing I'm thinking, listening to Vern's explanation there, Andrew, was he believed that the shooter was in the act of shooting. And we know that motion now is a little more stretched than it used to be as well, right? Upward motion. So by rule, if he is now in that motion to shoot the ball, it's not when it leaves his hand. So he's actually saying that shot was taking place by the time he posted. And I'll say this, when you're a veteran official and a good official, there are many times that you pause a little before you post your foul. And a lot of that comes with experience, but when you now get into these frame-by-frame replays, sometimes that works against you.
And you know, I thought it was a split second that he kind of not bobbled the ball, but he didn't get right into his shooting motion. It was really close.
Gene, thank you. A 5-point play for Utah State with 5 minutes to go. Massive play, and a foul is called on the floor before Blois threw it down.
I'm going to say that's one that Brian Dutch is going to look at after the game and not be happy with.
Keller commits his second. That's 16 fouls against the Aggies. San Diego State trying to get back in this game now. They've only made 3 threes all game. Bloth trying to make it 4. Rebound. There's a man's rebound by M.J. Collins.
And that's the other thing. Utah State, not a strong rebounding team. They've rebounded it pretty well today.
Brian Dutcher has sent Dixon Waters to the scorer's table with the 4 fouls. El Amin inside. Off the feed from Collins. And Bird is hurt. Oh, man, he's grabbing onto his right leg. We saw him come down awkwardly in the first half. Watch left of your screen.
Oh, yeah. That's why El Amin was completely open.
The assistant director of athletic medicine at San Diego State, Sergio Ibarra, is out to attend to Miles Bird.
Look at his knee over, it looks like. Hopefully they just bang knees. I think that could be what happened. It kind of looked like they collided there. Take a look top of the screen. Yeah, that might have been a knee-to-knee. Painful, but usually not serious, but who knows?
And Bird is now heading back behind the San Diego State bench. And we're going to take a timeout with 4:18 to go. Utah State with 7 points in the last 40 seconds. Look at the Capital One rewarding performance. M.J. Collins with 20 today.
Yeah, this kid, like you said, one of the most improved players in the country. Averaged 7 last year at Vanderbilt, 17 this year. One of the top 4 scorers in the Mountain West Conference. He can really shoot it. He's been terrific in this game.
Over to Evan.
Well, Miles Bird still on the sideline here, working through that right leg and knee area, trying to stay loose. He had some pre-existing tape on it. He made his way up the tunnel. The coaching message, trying to get a score here, guys. They want to set up their press to try and go on a run here in these final 4 minutes.
Well, they got to set up that press is right, but that their pressure, I mean, to have only 4 turnovers against San Diego State, as you said, Andrew, the lowest was 6. I mean, it's really hard to do that against this team. They force 15 almost a game.
Aztecs only have 19 points this half, 6 field goals, 6 turnovers, and they have not hit a 3-pointer in the last 21 minutes. Drake Allen was just called for that foul. That's his 4th, but Tay Simmons misses. Offensive rebound, Bloth, put back, and 1. A big one for the Aztecs with 4:07 on the clock.
Yeah, that's exactly what the doctor ordered.
Fourth foul on Gary Clark. Miles Bird happy about that one. See if he can get back in there.
Well, now they want him to make this obviously up so they can set up the pressure. Now you can't.
Tried to sneak a pass into Clark, and just the 5th turnover.
There's a turnover, and that's the key to this thing changing, is if they can force some turnovers.
There's the foul trouble. 3 players with 4 apiece. 17 assists, 5 turnovers for the Aggies. Dixon Waters from the free throw line comes up a little bit short, and Falslev the easy rebound.
Yeah, he's been making that fadeaway really all weekend. Well, not today. Hadn't played well all weekend.
looking for their 28th win of the year. Falslev, no. Clark the rebound and the putback.
They've gotten great minutes from Clark.
He's got 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 of the 6 boards have come on the offensive glass.
I mean, you think about it, Templin really hasn't done anything because these other guys come off the bench have done great.
Clough hits a 3. And Brian Dutcher calls it timeout. 2:51 to go. An 8-point Utah State lead.
Great, I don't have any service.
Have you heard of Visible? You should join now. Share my hotspot.
I got it.
Unlimited data and hotspot, all on Verizon's 5G network for just $25 a month. Tell your people. Plans starting at $25 a month. Taxes and fees included. Visible. Live in the know.
Southwest morning begins now.
We need to stick together!
Oh, no.
Group C.
I thought you checked us in last night.
Well, I was a minute late.
I am not sitting in a middle seat.
Let's go! Let's go!
America's best chefs face off in the ultimate arena for the biggest prize in culinary competition history. Who will take home $1 million and America's Culinary Cup? New CBS Wednesday after Survivor and streaming on Paramount Plus. That looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, I'd say.
Take a look at our game reset. San Diego State now 1 timeout remaining. Utah State has 2. You look at the Aztecs, you talked about it, Lap. They average almost 8 steals a game. Only 1 today.
That is a credit to Utah State.
Bird is back on the floor. Desperation time for San Diego State. As we've told you during this broadcast, our CBS Sports Bracketology has them as the first team out of the tournament field. Trying to wrap up an automatic spot. They're going to have to be on the comeback trail against the Aggies. Falslev. How did he get it to go?
Great footwork. That was the footwork of a postman, not a guard. This defense for Utah State has been pretty good.
Dixon Waters launches a heave for 3. Not there. Elamine the easy rebound. And now Jarrett Calhoun is saying, well, let's slow down a little bit, use a little clock.
Yes, use clock, and the San Diego State don't foul yet.
Falslev right by Clough.
Wow, you see why this kid's the player of the year. Made a lot of big plays.
16 for Mason Falslev. And time is running out for the Aztecs. Bird a deep 3.
Well, you got to foul. You got to give it 1 anyway. Well, if you're not going to foul now, then you're just saying the game's over. I guess they're just going to concede.
Five to shoot. Collins lost it going up. Good defense by San Diego State, but now less than a minute to play. Bird in transition, trying to get to the basket, sends it to the corner. Davis hits a 3. 71-62. Now you'd expect a quick foul.
I mean, why? They should have done it already, really. They let that whole shot clock go.
Trying to get him to foul. And they have it. Falslev to a cutting Clark. Davis misses. Falslev the rebound. And Brian Dutcher saying no foul. Utah State is going to win the regular season title and the Mountain West Conference tournament title. There is still 0.2 of a second on the clock. Teams have already started to shake hands, but it looks like they're going to make them inbound it very quickly.
Well, they got three guys on the court.
And now it's a final. Utah State, its 28th win of the year, and they sweep the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Mountain West.
Well, you got to give them all kinds of credit. Their defense was tremendous. They held San Diego State to 41%, but the big thing was 5 turnovers for the game. When San Diego State only gets 4 points off turnovers, you did something.
Aggies looking at least an 8 seed, maybe a 7 seed, and for San Diego State, they played their hearts out today. A quick turnaround after last night's semifinal win. Now they have to hope and wait with the selection show coming tomorrow as we put the finishing touches on the Mountain West bracket, and the #1 seed, Utah State, wins its 3rd Mountain West tournament title. They also won in 2019 and 2020. Evan is with the champs.
Jared Calhoun giving his guys some much needed love. MJ, come on in here. I'll start with you, MJ. You came to Logan to play for this guy next to me. And you guys just won the Mountain West Conference Tournament. You put this team on your back. What was your mindset going into this?
Kill. We knew this was a revenge tour for us. Everybody we played, they beat us. So we took that personal. And, I wouldn't be able to do it without, God, my family, my girl, coach, the whole coaching staff, the whole community of Logan. They behind our backs, and we came out here and played for them.
Every player has their own journey. They're winding roads these days. This is your 3rd school. Why was this the right place to do this?
Because I trusted Coach Calhoun. I moved 30 hours from home. I was always right there, being at Vanderbilt, and Virginia Tech was right there in my backyard. I took the chance to trust Coach Calhoun and his staff, and also the teammates, and we came up for him.
Well, now you're going dancing. Coach, come on in here. Let's get these guys with us as well. What are you most proud of with this trip and how you won?
Yeah, really our defense. The last 3 days, we've just guarded our tail off, So really proud of the guys to win the regular season and a tournament title. We just made Utah State history. It's never been done. So really, really proud of these guys.
You've been clear about the limitations at times with the program. Why is it that you keep going to the NCAA tournament?
Well, we were 4th or 5th in rev share NIL. The school has not given us $1 in 2 years. These people up here supported this team for the last 2 years. Jim Lobb was unable to come to the game tonight. Jim Lobb was a huge part of this success. I hope he's watching. I hope he's proud. He gave the message today to the guys, and our guys knew we wanted this for Logan, right? All these fans, it's unbelievable.
You did it for him. Congrats. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
And Evan MJ Collins was named tournament MVP as Jared Calhoun shows off the dance moves. To watch the rest of this ceremony and celebration, go to cbssports.com/watch NCAA basketball. Oh, what a week it's been again here in Las Vegas at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Tonight on CBS, action-packed episodes of NCIS and NCIS Origins in an all-new 48 hours. So for Steve Lapis, Evan Washburn, Gene Steratore, our entire CBS crew, this is Andrew Catalan saying so long from Vegas. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.
Fleeing police struck them.